Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is October 27th. We've been playing baseball since the end of March all the way up to this point. The World Series, it's here. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? The World Series is upon us. Game 1 of the World Series starts today, but who's playing in it? If you follow baseball, you know already. But to start off today's episode, we're going to be talking about a couple of the manager stuff that's been going around, a couple job postings already, and some jobs already being filled. We'll dive on into the recap of the last 3 games of the championship series, and then we'll start talking about the 2 teams that won those championship series and the series upon us, the World Series. So we're going to dive right on in, start talking about some of the manager stuff quick. So the first thing I want to mention here today is Dusty Baker, longtime manager, is set to retire, one of the best managers in baseball history. 26 seasons as a baseball manager. He is 7th all-time with wins, sitting at 2,183. He's a World Series champion with the Astros in 2022. Last year, he has 3 pennants, and he has 3 Manager of the Year. Spent some time with the Reds, the Giants, the Cubs, the Nationals, and of course, his most recent and finals team, the Astros. So congratulations to Dusty Baker. Enjoy your retirement. We'll see if you come out of it in a couple of seasons. The next news, the Giants have already announced that they have hired Bob Melvin to be their next manager. They got rid of Gabe Kepler at the end of the season, and with the Padres' permission, asked to interview Bob Melvin, and they've decided to come to terms, and Bob Melvin will be the Giants manager come the 2024 season, which means the Padres have to now find a new manager. So just to talk about really quickly, as of right now, 5 teams are looking for managers. We have the Angels, the Astros, the Padres, the Mets, and the Guardians. There was some news and some rumors that Buck Showalter might end up on the Angels. He was fired with the Mets. The Guardians were talking about hiring Stephen Vo, who was a catcher a long time with the Oakland Athletics. Had a good career there. Astros, obviously, Dusty Baker retired, so they need a new one. The Padres, Bob Melvin is now a Giant, so there you go. So Gabe Kepler's on the market as well if we're talking about managers who were already managing, but we'll see what those 5 teams do and if any other teams will join them. But I thought it was worth mentioning today right now. All right, here we go. So let's talk about the ALCS Game 7, which took place on Monday, a do-or-die game for the Astros and the Rangers, and it would be a Game 3 rematch, Max Scherzer versus Christian Javier, who has been dominant in the postseason. Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Rangers, he is 2-0 in Game 7s. While Dusty Baker, the Astros manager, is 0-3 in Game 7, so let's see if that trend would continue. Second batter of the game, 4 pitches in. Javier throws a fastball high, and Seager connects as that one is way deep and gone. Leaves the yard. Texas, a quick start, 1-0, and it wouldn't only be that run as Carter then walks and steals second. Adolis Garcia hits a tank going to left field, but it hits off the top of the wall. Garcia was watching it, so he only gets to first base, but Carter does come around to score to make it 2-0, but then Garcia steals second and Garver hits one to shallow left, and it falls just before Chas McCormick, which brings in Garcia, and it's 3-0 Texas already in the first. The Astros do get a run back in the bottom of the first, a leadoff double by Altuve, and then Jose Abreu hits one down the line. That scores him to make it 3-1. Top of the third now, Adolis Garcia leads it off with a bomb. The Rangers are up 4-1. It's his 4th straight game with a homer, which ties the Rangers franchise streak. Now to the bottom of the third, it's Bregman's turn. That gets a run back, a solo shot for Alex Bregman. His 19th career postseason home run puts him 6th all-time, 4-2. Top four now, the bases are loaded, 1 out, and it's Evan Carter who pokes one down the right field line. A 2-run double makes it 6-2, and it doesn't stop there. The next batter, it's Adolis Garcia again. He hits one on the ground through the hole between third and short. That brings in 2 more and makes it an 8-2 game Texas. Top of the 6th, a runner on. It's Nathaniel Lau who connects. He gets one to leave the park just over the glove of Kyle Tucker. That's a 2-run shot, and it's all coming up Texas 10-2. Yordan Alvarez, he singles in a run in the bottom of the 7th to make it 10-3. Very next inning, top of the 8th, it's Garcia again. His 2nd home run of the game, his 5th RBI. It's Texas is up big 11-3. It's the last hope for Houston as they enter the bottom of the 9th. Jose Leclerc comes in looking for 3 outs, and his first pitch greets Altuve as he crushes the ball to left field for a home run to lead off the inning 11-4, but that's all the Astros would get as Texas finishes them off. And the Rangers are heading back to the World Series for the first time since 2011 as they beat the Astros 11-4. And Christian Javier, as dominant as he's been in the postseason, today was not it. Only got 1 out, a third of an inning pitched. He gave up 4 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk, and no Ks. Max Scherzer was okay, 2 2/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks. Jordan Montgomery pitched in this game. JP France was not good in this game. He was a big reason Texas scored all those runs in the 4th inning. Just not good there. Bruce Bochy, the Texas Rangers manager, he's the first manager ever to win a league championship series with 3 different franchises, so congrats to him. And then a big congratulations to Adolis Garcia, your ALCS MVP for the series. His OPS 1.293, 5 home runs, and 15 RBIs in a 7-game span. Crazy stuff from Adolis Garcia. He was all over Houston. It was a great series, but Texas does end up stealing Houston's thunder and is heading back to the World Series for the first time in 12 years. So good for Texas there. Another thing to note is the Abreu suspension. So the Abreu suspension was appealed and held back, so it will now be the first 2 games of the 2024 season. Bryan Abreu pitched in this game, and he gave up the home run to allow the 2-run shot after he hit Garver with a pitch 97 miles an hour up and in at his chest. That one might be a little bit more intentional than the one against Garcia earlier in the series. That one doesn't really make sense in terms of the game outline, but this one didn't make any, this one made a lot more sense. Texas was up big. You kind of get into late stages of this game. So not a great look for Bryan Abreu. Want to mention that later on, Roldis Chapman, known as the hardest thrower in baseball, he hit Chas McCormick with a 104-mile-an-hour pitch on his thigh. I think Chas posted a picture of the bruise that was forming, and it was already massive. So can't be pretty, and it's a bad look for both of them, to be honest. But Bryan Abreu, it looks really bad on. And I also want to point out MLB's decision here. I think it's ridiculous because if you're going to punish the pitcher, you have to do it when it's actually going to matter, which would be in this series. If this game was really close, and we're talking about a 3-3 game here, going late stages, Bryan Abreu is probably the Astros' best bullpen outside, or best arm out of the bullpen outside of Ryan Presley. Not having him, that's a blow to the Astros. That's how you punish a pitcher. By saying that, they basically confirmed what the umpire said, saying that, it was intentional, but because of how important this is, you can serve the suspension next year in the first 2 games of the season, which theoretically won't matter. It doesn't make any sense. If you're going to suspend a player for an action in the postseason, you suspend them in the postseason. You don't suspend them next year when, like, Bryan Abreu might not be playing for the Astros next year. Like, he could get traded. He could, I'm not sure if he's a free agent or not. That's not really fair for the other team that now they have to deal with that. So the idea to have a suspension played out next year is ridiculous. I think MLB made the wrong decision there regardless. But yeah, it was just poor, and that's all I have to say about that. But yeah. All right, so let's flip the script now to the NL side of things to see who Texas will face in the World Series. Phillies currently up 3-2 as we head to Game 6, and it's a rematch of Game 2. Aaron Nola versus Merrill Kelly. The Phillies are 6-0 at home this postseason, and they're looking strong. Nola strikes up the side in the first, gives up a hit in the process, but 3 strikeouts is a great start from Nola. Merrill Kelly, he escapes some trouble in the first. We're tied at 0 entering the second, and it's Tommy Pham, who missed Game 5, just was not placed in the lineup. He leads off the inning with a home run as he drives one to left field. The D-backs strike first 1-0. And what's better than 1 home run? Well, how about 2? Lourdes Gurriel Jr. goes back-to-back with Tommy Pham. It's 2-0 Snakes as they strike off of Nola, who then walks Alek Thomas, and then Longoria drives one to left center for a double, and with Alek Thomas's speed, he'll score from first. It is 3-0 Arizona. The Phillies answer with one after a double from Real Muto, and then a base hit from Brandon Marsh. That makes it 3-1. Top 5 now, Corbin Carroll, he gets a single up the middle, and then Ketel Marte shoots one down the right field line. Corbin Carroll's speed allows him to score from first. Meanwhile, Marte is racing for third with a stand-up RBI triple. It's 4-1 D-backs, and Marte's hit extends his postseason hitting streak to 15, tying the NL record. Kelly wanted to keep going in this one because he was pitching great, but he was at 90 pitches, and after 5 innings of work was taken out. Top 7 now, Geraldo Perdomo with a base hit. He steals second, and then a base hit from Marte cashes him in. That makes it a 5-1 game, and that's how this one would stay as Arizona stays alive. They're the first team to beat the Phillies at home this postseason, and we get ready for a do-or-die Game 7 in Philly as the Snakes take it 5-1. Merrill Kelly was great. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, only the 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 8 Ks to his name. Aaron Nola was okay with 4 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. Obviously, those 2 home runs were a big deal earlier in this game with Tommy Pham and Gurriel going back-to-back. But regardless, we have 2 Game 7s in the championship series. And we sleep over, or not sleep over, we sleep. And that brings us to Tuesday for the NLCS Game 7, the do-or-die game. And this one is between Brandon Pfaadt and Ranger Suarez, a rematch of Game 3. The D-backs get things started early in this one. An infield single by Corbin Carroll. A hit and run. Morano drives one to right field. Carroll will have to end up at third base there. And then Christian Walker hits one on the ground that could have been a double play, but he beats it out for a fielder's choice. That scores Carroll. It's 1-0 D-backs. Bottom second. First pitch swinging from Bohm. And first pitch crushing Alec Bohm with a solo shot for a home run to tie the game up 1-1. Bottom 4 now, Bohm up again, and he walks, and the next batter is Bryson Stott. He hits one to left center. That gets down and to the wall. Alec Bohm scores all the way from first. The Phillies have the lead. It's 2-1. 2 outs in the 5th inning now, a runner on second. Carroll hits one up the middle. That gets through the hole for his 3rd hit already in the game, and that scores the runner from second. The D-backs tie this ball game back up 2 apiece. Then after that, Carroll would steal second. Moreno gets a base hit to right field, which scores Carroll. That puts the Snakes in front 3-2. With Perdomo on, Marte hits a ball over Castellanos' head in right field to get runners on second and third, and for Marte, he extends his postseason hitting streak to 16, a new NL record, as Marte has gotten a hit in every postseason game he's played in. A crazy streak that is. The next batter, it's Corbin Carroll. He gets a sac fly. That makes it a 4-2 ball game. Zach Wheeler, the ace of the Phillies, comes in to end the threat. He would pitch a little bit. Kevin Ginkel and Paul Sewald keep the Phillies dead in the last 3 innings, and the Diamondbacks do the unthinkable and beat the Phillies in Game 7. They are heading to the World Series to take on the Rangers as they win 4-2. Snakes. Wow, Brandon Pfaadt. What a series he had. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. He had 9 Ks in game 3 in like 5 innings. He was great. Ranger Suarez, he was good in this game too. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, and 6 Ks. But who was not good was some of the Phillies hitters. The Phillies only scored 3 runs in these last 2 games at home at Citizens Bank Park. They were 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position. And how about the trio of Nicholas Castellanos, Trey Turner, and Bryce Harper? Those are 3 guys who had 1 OPS entering the NLCS. They were 0 for 23 in these last 2 games. Not a single one of them got a hit. Yikes. Philly fans were not happy. If you're watching if you're on social media, a lot of them had very negative things to say, very disappointing, and it's been a tough go if you're a Phillies fan in general in the sports industry. The Eagles, the Super Bowl last year, the 76ers, and what they do. It's not a great go for Philadelphia fans. But how about Ketel Marte now, your NLCS MVP? What a series this guy had. He's got a 16-game postseason hitting streak, and he's looking to tie the MLB record at 17. Today on Friday with a hit. His OPS 987 in the series, 387 average. He had 3 RBIs and 4 doubles to his name, a big part in the reason why these Diamondbacks ended up winning the series. And we're set now with our World Series matchup between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers. Okay, here we are. The World Series matchup. The Arizona Diamondbacks at the Texas Rangers, your 2023 World Series. And remember, Arizona shouldn't even be here. If you go back to the ending of the regular season, Seiya Suzuki, a Cubs outfielder, he drops a ball versus the Braves. If he doesn't do that and they make that catch, the Cubs end up winning that game. The Cubs stay in front of the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks got swept by the Astros to end the series. The Diamondbacks probably wouldn't have made playoffs if Suzuki had caught that ball. And this is what baseball is so great, and that's why it's a game of inches sometimes. Arizona has slipped their way in here with 84 wins, have beaten the Brewers, have beaten the Dodgers, and now have beaten the Phillies. Remember, if you are an NL team and you beat the Brewers in a postseason game, or postseason series, there's a chance you make the World Series because that's happened every single time. Every time the Brewers, whoever beats the Brewers in a postseason series, that team ends up going to the World Series, and that trend continues with these Diamondbacks. Taking a look at Texas's path to the playoffs here in the playoffs. Remember how the whole season we're talking about the Rays and the Oilers. These two teams going back and forth. Who's going to win the AL East division? Both were 100-win teams, and Texas said, we'll take both of them. Thank you very much. They beat Tampa Bay play in the wild card. They beat Baltimore in the division series. And then remember, Texas had the best chances of winning the AL West title, with 1 week left to play in the regular season. The Astros came in on the last day and swooped it away from them. The Astros won the West Division from the Rangers and forced them to play that wild card series. The Astros, they beat the Astros. They got their revenge and are heading to the World Series. So both teams played some great teams to get to where they are here. Texas will be the home team, so that means they will host games 1 and 2, and then if necessary games 6 and 7, which means we will be in Arizona for games 3, 4, and 5. It was just 2 years ago that both the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks had 100-loss seasons. They are both now here in the World Series. The last time a team lost 100 games in a season and then made the World Series 2 years after was the Rays in 2018. They had a 100-loss season in 2006. It's pretty crazy that both of them are here now after struggling, just a short 2 years ago. The Diamondbacks and the Rangers have the lowest combined win total ever for a World Series matchup. The Rangers won 90 games and the Diamondbacks won 84. That's a total combination of 174. And if we even go back to the beginning of the season, the Rangers had the 22nd best odds for a World Series. The Diamondbacks had it 26. So if you're over there saying that you predicted that it would be Rangers and D-backs in the World Series, you're a liar. That's not true. Nobody thought this matchup would be happening at the beginning of the season. This will be the third time that Texas has entered the World Series. The last time being 2011 when they lost in humiliating fashion. They were up 3-2 in that series. Game 6, some Cardinals fans know it as the David Freese game. He had the game-tying triple down to the last out. Texas was 1 out away from a World Series. Gave up the game-tying triple. That game goes into extras. David Freese hits the walk-off home run to win it for the Cardinals, which sets up the Game 7 in which the Cardinals have won. So Texas is 0-2 in their lifetime. They are one of, I believe now, 6 teams who are still searching for their first World Series title. Will this be the year for Texas? Meanwhile, Arizona has only been to the World Series once, and that was in 2001, a very memorable year for some people. They took on the Yankees in that World Series, and Luis Gonzalez walked it off for them on Game 7 off of Mariano Rivera. So the Diamondbacks are 1-1 in World Series, and if they win this series, they would be like the Miami Marlins, going 2-2. The only 2 times they made it, they won it all. So we'll see how Arizona does in this series. Looking at the regular season, the D-backs took 3 of 4 from the Rangers. So Arizona had won some of their matchups previously. And so that's the 2 teams right there. Let's take a look at some of these players and some of the key players in this series. So let's start off with those Texas Rangers, and there's no one better right now than Adolis Garcia in this postseason. 7 home runs, 20 RBIs, a 1.102 OPS, and right before him it's Corey Seager, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 5 doubles, 12 walks, an OPS of 1.127. They're the only 2 players who have an OPS above 1. No one from the D-backs have that. Other guys, Evan Carter and Josh Young, these rookies have been phenomenal for the Rangers. Carter has 5 RBIs to his name, 9 walks, 6 doubles. Josh Young, he's got 8 RBIs, 3 home runs. Mitch Garver has 10 RBIs, 2 home runs. Nathaniel Lau's been good with 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. The Texas Rangers that are kind of struggling, or at least haven't really been too effective. Leody Taveras has been a great defender, but offensively hasn't produced much. Same with Jonah Heim. And I mean, Marcus Semien, he's had an awful go at the postseason, and he's still batting in the 1 spot. So that's something that you should watch out for. He's definitely been the worst, producer for the Texas Rangers, maybe one of the worst players in their roster for this postseason. Well, that's the offense there. Their rotation, the three guys they've been rolling out there, Jordan Montgomery, Nathan Eovaldi, and Max Scherzer. They definitely have the better trio in terms of their starting pitcher. Montgomery and Eovaldi have been wonderful for the Rangers. Scherzer, obviously coming off injury, is giving it all he has, but is it enough? The Rangers' pen has been okay. They've definitely been better than what people were thinking. Jose Leclerc in the postseason, 10 innings and a third pitched, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, so nothing crazy there, 10 strikeouts. Aroldis Chapman, 6 and a third innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks. Josh Saborz has been really good for the Rangers. He stepped out, 8 and 2/3 innings pitched, only 2 hits, 1 earned run, and 7 Ks. Some of the other guys they've been using occasionally, Bradford, Andrew Heaney, Dane Dunning, John Gray has an inning pitched, Martin Perez. So we'll definitely have to see what Texas can do there. But their strategy is have Montgomery, have Eovaldi go 6 innings, go 7 innings, and then turn it over to like a Chapman Leclerc or a Saborz Leclerc and ride that game out there. That's what the Rangers want to do. If the D-backs want to succeed in this series, they're going to have to knock out that starter, 5th inning and before that. They got to get to Jordan. They got to get to Nathaniel. That's going to be a big key for the Diamondbacks, who offense has been clutch. Not the greatest offense, but they have been clutch and have gotten the key hits when they needed to. Ketel Marte leads the way, a .358 average, 7 RBIs, 5 doubles, a home run. Alek Thomas, he's been a platoon player. He hasn't played in every game, but he has been good when he does. 4 home runs to his name. That leads the Diamondbacks, 6 RBIs. Corbin Carroll, he has 2 home runs this postseason, 6 RBIs to his name. The young catcher Gabby Moreno, 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr., 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. Those are the 2 guys that the Diamondbacks acquired from the Toronto Blue Jays for Dalton Varsho at the beginning of the season. Christian Walker, he's been quiet offensively, but still has 7 RBIs to his name, so there's some guys there. Don't forget Tommy Pham, Geraldo Perdomo are also in that lineup. A good lineup regardless, and as well as Evan Longoria, the veteran. The rotation has kind of gone Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and Brandon Pfaadt. Zach Gallen is supposed to be the star pitcher, Cy Young potential, the ace in the books. He's been pretty mediocre in the postseason. He hasn't had that kind of, strong 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs appearance that some might have been thinking that he would have had. He's been getting hit. He hasn't had great stuff, and I think that's a big thing to worry about if you're Arizona. But Kelly and Pfaadt have definitely picked up the slack, especially Brandon Pfaadt. In that Phillies series, he was great, nearly pitching 9 innings and getting 16 strikeouts, a big reason why the Diamondbacks are here to this day. And then Kelly, obviously, even in Game 2, a game that he lost, he pitched well enough to, get them where they need to be, to give them a chance, obviously. And, Game 6 was the same way. He pitched wonderfully in that game, going 5 innings, only allowing 3 hits. I think the big thing for him is, limiting his pitches. To get to 5 innings is great, but you were at 90 pitches at the time. You definitely need to lower that number. But the rotation could be great, but I definitely think the Rangers have the better rotation. But let me tell you who has the better bullpen. It's Arizona, and it's not close. These 3 guys have been excellent for the Diamondbacks. Ryan Thompson, 10 and 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 10 hits and given up 3 earned runs, struck out 8 batters this postseason. So, 3 earned runs isn't a whole great, but, after him, you go Kevin Ginkel and Paul Sewald, who have both not given up a single run yet. Kevin Ginkel, 9 innings pitched, 5 hits, 13 Ks. Paul Sewald, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, 11 Ks. If Arizona has a lead late, good luck, Texas, because Ginkel, Sewald, and even Thompson have been pretty lights out since. They have some of the guys that they've used back there, Joe Mantiply, Miguel Castro. They've been okay for them. But the D-backs plan is essentially have their pitcher go 5 innings, turn it over to Multiply, to Castro, get Thompson in there. And if you have a lead in the 8th and 9th, Ginkel gets the 8th, Seawold gets the 9th. That's a win for Arizona. And that's been the case so far. They've gotten through the Brewers that way, they've gotten through the Dodgers that way, and they got through the Phillies that way. Ginkel and Seawold have been fantastic. And those are the players that matter. Those are some top players, and we'll have to see who will stand out above the rest in this series.